Hello, I am at Rail Yard Apothecary today. My name is Jessica Churchill. I am one of the clinical herbalists and staff herbalists here in Burlington.
Hello, my name is Sachi, and I am one of the worker owners here at Rail Yard. Oh, continuing on. Today we're talking about seasonal transitions. So this time of year, the weather goes up and down a lot, but we are all getting pretty excited about the increase in the light and the warmth and the nicer weather to come. And we're all waiting for the plants to wake up. And it's just a very exciting time of year full of lots of hope. Some of us are starting seeds and planting our gardens. And we're just kind of coming out of hibernation, which is really nice. It's also a great time if you've been inside a lot this winter to come back out and take some time to get back in touch with the earth and see the birds coming back and just get outside and get grounded again. Traditionally, at the end of winter, many cultures had run low on a lot of their food stores, and so we were really craving nutrients. And the first spring greens were super exciting because we really needed them as a source of food, and I'm sure just having something fresh to eat again. We're lucky this time. These days we have access to lots of good nutrition all year round, but it's still pretty special to get out there and pick those first dandelion greens or violets and add them to your salads. All right.
Yeah, as we start approaching the spring and spring equinox is on the horizon, days are getting longer, snow is melting. Got mud coming up all around us, and the plants start to quicken. Just chatting with someone who said they've seen the first signs of crocuses. Many people start to think about spring cleaning. This can look like opening your windows, scrubbing down your kitchen, washing and putting away winter clothing, eating more spring greens like Sachi mentioned, or doing a big haul out and donating a bunch of stuff that you don't need anymore. Sometimes in the health community, we hear advice in the spring to do a fast or do some kind of cleanse. In the winter months, our bodies tend to slow down, and that includes our digestion. We're eating heavier generally, more fats, and our bodies are just, being that we're mammals, our bodies are just slowing down in general. As the light begins to come back, you may find your body starting to crave more green things and lighter fare, so that your liver can take a little rest after a heavy winter. Keeping in mind that we can offer ourselves this gift of simplifying things with our digestion, by adding things like the fresh greens. There's also ways that you can gently do a cleanse or a detox. Sometimes people are really craving that. It's not necessary. The liver is designed to detox the body and does a great job most of the time, unless you have some sort of liver disease. But for folks who are looking for cleanses, we recommend doing like a short, gentle type cleanse for your system so you're not overtaxing other parts of the body. A Kitchari cleanse is a great option. Kitchari is a traditional Ayurvedic 3 to 7 day mono diet detox. So it's mung beans, basmati rice, ghee, and spices. So it gives you a complete protein. It's easy to digest. And it's super nourishing and supportive rather than being depleting like some detoxes or fasts can be. Also, if you're feeling the urge to cleanse, think about non-food related options, right? So taking a break from social media, decluttering a space in your house, letting go of a commitment or a relationship that is no longer in line with your values. As we start to think about spring and we're outside more, we're staying up later, we're filling up our calendars with activities, maybe making plans to travel. thinking about working out in the garden, sometimes it's good to look at existing routines and letting go of things to make room for new things. So we can think about that in the same way as like last year's plants went to sleep for the winter, they got broken down, and now they're compost for new growth in the spring. We can do that with things in our own lives as a way to make space for the new coming in.
Sounds good. All right.
So we're going to talk about some herbal actions. An herbal action just means what an herb does when it's in the body. When we learn about herbal actions, we can start to understand sort of what a broad variety of herbs can do, the impact that it can have inside of the body. So some herbal actions that can be supportive in the spring all are alteratives, bitters, lymphatics, carminatives, and nutritive herbs. Alternative herbs help to reestablish healthy function in the digestive system. They're often referred to in herbal books as blood purifiers that support detox pathways, specifically like through the skin or the liver. Some examples of alternatives are burdock root, dandelion root, and yellow dock. So all of those could be dug up in the spring. You can also, and you can eat them. The yellow dock, not so much, it's not that tasty, but dandelion and burdock are great in a stir fry. Bitters are herbs that stimulate bitter receptors in our tongue, and that then stimulates saliva production, and it is a way to prepare the body for digestion. So our American diet generally lacks the bitter taste. We have an aversion to it. And consequently, a lot of us have digestive issues. Mm-hmm. Some examples of bitters would be dandelion, gentian root, or artichoke leaf. And you'll see that some of these examples fill more than one category, which is another really lovely thing about herbs. Is that they often do multiple things in the body system, so you don't necessarily have to take 6 different herbs. You can often find one herb that will do multiple things. Lymphatic herbs stimulate the flow of lymph through your lymph system. In addition, they help the body get rid of metabolic waste. They can help reduce swelling and tissue congestion. They also support the immune system and can increase lymphocyte production. So examples of some lymphatics would be cleavers. That's the sticky weed if you go for a walk in the woods that'll cling onto your pants. Calendula and red clover. Another category or herbal action is carminatives. They're aromatic herbs that help to dispel gas, bloating, and any like intestinal cramping you have when you're digesting food. They're also generally pretty warming to the body, help to stoke the digestive fire, and as we're coming into spring, oftentimes our digestion needs that extra warming, again after a long sluggish winter. Some examples of carminatives are fennel, ginger, and cardamom. And then lastly, we'll talk about nutritive herbs. They're just what they sound like. They're nourishing to the body. Think about them as like herbs as food. High in vitamins, minerals, antioxidants. These plant allies can be added to salads, stews. You can use them to replace spinach or kale in your favorite recipes. And then they can also be taken in therapeutic doses, either in tea or tincture. Example of nutritive herbs are nettles, which is really high in iron, calcium, magnesium, chickweed, which is high in iron, calcium, and ABC vitamins, and dandelion greens, which is high in potassium and vitamins. And all 3 of those, for any gardeners out there, will often show up in your garden space. So when you're weeding, you can gather them, bring them inside, and eat them up.
right. One of my favorite spring plants to munch on is violet. There are lots of different colors of violet. The ones at my house tend to be purple and white, so pretty easy to identify. You can eat the leaves and the flowers, and the leaves are just very mild and maybe a touch sweet, so really nice addition to a salad. It is energetically cooling, so its herbal actions are is a good demulcent, it's a lymphatic, and it's also just nutritive. So you might reach for the violets not just to fancy up your salad, but if you have like a dry throat from giving a speech or an illness and you're just, it's just hard to talk, the violets can help. Or if you're just feeling rather dry in general and you're just trying to hydrate a little better. Or if you have lymphatic congestion, then you can reach for those violets to help get that stuff flowing. You can also have it in a tea or an infusion or tincture, glycerate, and you can also infuse it in oil. And it is fairly safe to use, though always you want to be cautious if you are pregnant.
Another plant that shows up early in the spring is dandelion. Dandelion is an aster family plant. You can eat and use all of the parts of the dandelion. You can use the roots, the leaves, and the flowers. It is a cooling plant. It's also slightly drying. It's a bitter. We talked about bitters before. Herbal actions are, it is a bitter digestive, alterative, it is a diuretic, it's also a mild laxative. In addition, it's a cholagogue and a choleretic. You can prepare it as an infusion. You can make tea with the leaves. You can also do a decoction, which is like a simmering the roots for 15 to 20 minutes to also make a tea, and it tinctures really well as well. And then it's pretty easy to integrate dandelion into foods in the spring. You can pickle the roots. You can also just saute the roots and the greens. You can make a pesto with the greens, a salad, and then you can also use the blossoms. Some folks like to make dandelion wine, but you can also make them into fritters that are pretty tasty. And I've even seen a cookie recipe now and again for dandelion flowers. So dandelion is a great one to reach for because it has several herbal actions. If you are feeling like you need a little bump for your lymph or for your digestion in general, you can reach for dandelion. It also can be a mild laxative, so if you're feeling dried out and backed up in the spring, it can be a gentle way to get the digestive system back up and running. It does have an effect on I just went completely blank. It does stimulate the gallbladder. So if you have biliary abscesses or obstruction, so obstruction in your gallbladder, if you're like pre-gallbladder surgery, just be aware that this probably isn't a plant you want to use. It's probably going to overstimulate your liver and therefore your gallbladder, so maybe reach for a different herb. But for everybody else, this is a really delightful, not only nutritive plant, but also helping with digestion and just general liver health.